All right, today we have lesson 1.5, equations, and we're going to look at solving equations with one variable and briefly solving equations with two variables, at least our first little introduction to that for the year. A couple of definitions kind of to start things off with. Some equations may be solved by testing a series of possible values to stand in for the variable. It's kind of the old guess and check method of solving an equation, and you guys are familiar with that because you've used it before. Except that instead of just choosing any random number you want to start with, there's going to be a set of numbers called a replacement set. And the replacement set gives you 3, 4, 5 numbers to test in the equation to see if any of them work. The thing about a replacement set is you probably know, at least to start off with, some of them aren't going to work. And you know that at least one of them is. And so you want to try to find the one that is, but today we're going to go ahead and test all of them because we are going to get to the point where we test equations that may have more than one solution. And so you always want to test all of the items in the replacement set to make sure that they're not sneaking something in there to try to trick you. Once you have found the solution that works, whether it's 1 or 2 or 5 answers or whatever it is, that becomes your solution set. So we'll write the solution set in set notation to set it off as being different from the replacement set. You have one example to work through on your notes. Use a table to find the solution set of the equation 2x plus 5 equals 13 if the replacement set is 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we put the replacement numbers here, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those become the x values. And then we just test them. 2 times 2 is 10. Or sorry, 2 times 2 is 4. Plus 5 is 9. So this equation is false. That one doesn't work. 2 times 3 is 6. Plus 5 is 11 instead of 13, so since that one doesn't work, it's false as well. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 5 is 13, so this one is true. And then we test the last one just to make sure. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 5 is 15, so the equation is false. So since we have one that's true, that becomes the solution set. So the answer to the problem becomes, in set notation, so it's got to have the fancy brackets, 4. That's what you need to write as a solution set.
Squigglies count as the fancy brackets again?
Yes, squigglies. Squigglies count as the fancy brackets. That's exactly right. Now, some equations may be solved through use of the order of operations. We're going to solve for y below. This is the old, you guys know how to do this. This is solving an equation. Okay, and all we're going to use is order of operations. So 6 plus 5 squared is 25, minus 5, that's divided by 2 equals y. 6 plus 20 divided by 2 equals y. 26 divided by 2 equals y. So 13 equals y. Pretty simple stuff. All you got to do is order of operations.
Wait, you divide first. It would be 16.
Oh, you got me? Thank you. 6 plus 20 divided by 2 is 10 equals y. So there are some of you paying attention out there. 16 equals y. Have to divide first. 20 divided by 2 is 10. This part comes first. Next, 7 minus 4 squared minus 10 plus n equals 10. So again, order of operations 7 minus 16 minus 10 plus n equals 10. 7 minus 6 plus n equals 10. 1 plus n equals 10. Now what?
Subtract 1.
Subtract 1 from both sides. So n equals 9. Okay? All right. They get a little more complex. So n, order of operations says to add this first, right? So n times 5 plus 6 equals 5n plus 7. All right, n times 5, we just rewrite all this so that it looks better. 5n plus 6 equals 5n plus 7. What do I need to do to solve?
Subtract 6.
Subtract 6, I can do that. Subtract 6, 5n equals 5n plus 1.
And then subtract
5n, subtract 5n for both sides. 5n, what's 5n minus 5n?
0. And
0 equals 1.
That sure makes sense. 0 n, right? Well, yeah.
What?
Huh?
Where's the mistake?
We're supposed to subtract
We're supposed to try, instead of, okay, so up here, 5n plus 6 equals 5n plus 7. Oops, I forgot the n. 5n,
We're still gonna come out to be
5n plus 7, so subtract 5n first.
It's still gonna come out to be 0.
So that would be, these cancel out and these cancel out, right? So 6 equals 7. That didn't help us.
Oh,
Wait,
so what you do is you do minus 6 on both sides and minus 1 on both sides, and then you divide 5n by 5 to get n. Or no, you add 5n for one side to where you get.
Yeah, we haven't made any mistakes.
they're not the same.
so it's an incorrect problem.
You remember what we call this? You've seen them before.
Proper.
No
Wrong.
solution. This is a no solution equation. It's broken. The equation is not valid. So
They cheated us.
you get down to the end and you come up with something like this.
They cheated us.
There's no solution. Okay?
So we write out no solution or that.
You can put the circle with a slash, or you can make a no solution. Now it just looks like a donut with a slash. All right.
If it's like
Back
0
means
equals
it's
1 or
back.
like 1 equals 0.
Or 45 equals 96 or whatever it is. I mean, yeah.
Oh, number equals number.
Anything
Letter.
anything that comes out incorrect.
Okay.
All right. No solution. All right. Well, that one was broken, so let's try another one. All right.
Did you
Order of operations. Did I purposely put that one in there?
Yeah.
Yes.
You did the math to make sure it was broken.
Yes.
You're so
Because I wanted there to be a no solution one in there so that you would have to struggle with it.
I just did the-
You're going to have those on your homework too. No solution. All right, so 2 times 5 is 10 minus 8, still in parentheses, and this is 3h plus 6 equals, okay, we got lots of parentheses here. So 2h plus h is 3h plus 6. We can just drop those parentheses because all that's left is one term inside of them. So the brackets are still there, is times 2. All right, so this is 10 minus 8 is 2 times 3h plus 6 equals whoops, we can just go ahead and multiply that. So 3h plus 6 is, or 3h times 2, 6h plus 12. I'm not used to seeing this is the distributive property, but usually we have the 2 over here, but it still works that way. So 2 times 3h is 6h plus 12 equals 6h plus 12. So subtract 6h from both sides, right? So 12 equals 12. If we subtract 12 from both sides, we get 0 equals 0. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So where's my h equals something? Where did h go? There is no h. It's gone. We subtracted it, so it's gone. So what does this mean?
You don't need it.
You don't need h.
The slashing circle.
Oh, it's the opposite of the slashy circle. The slashy circle means there's no number at all that will work.
All numbers will work.
This one is the opposite of that. All numbers will work. We call this one an identity, or we call it all solutions,
Oh.
or all numbers. Sorry, all numbers.
0 with an X? For all solutions?
All numbers. 0 with an x?
Infinite sum.
No. Because infinite would be, the infinite set is everything in the universe. You can't put a cheeseburger in. That doesn't work.
Cheeseburgers equal cheeseburgers.
All right. You have all numbers, all real numbers is what it would be. Any number that you can think of
What about pi?
will work. Sure. Yes.
Pi.
Is there a symbol for this?
Nope.
There's no slash.
Not that I'm aware of. Identity or all numbers is what it needs to be. Yes, Harley.
So if pi will work for it, why won't cheeseburger?
Yeah.
Pi is a number. Cheeseburger is not.
And it's,
Then we'll make.
It's also good, so why
All right.
can't pi work?
is there any of those on everyone?
Yep. You will have some identities, you will have some no solutions, and you'll have some that do have solutions. So you've got to be sure of yourself. The temptation is, once I've shown, I remember this back in pre-algebra, the temptation is once we get this, it's like you want every one of them to be no solution because, wow, that's just a lot of math. And if I write down no solution, then, you know, I couldn't figure it out, so it must be right. No, you'll have some that are no solutions, some that are identities, and some that have solutions. So you've got to work it out and be sure of your steps all the way through. All right, last one, and this is going to be the only one we look at like this, solving equations with 2 variables. A recycling facility accepts unused paint. Paint is blended and given away in 5-gallon buckets. Write and solve an equation to find the number of buckets of paint given away if 30,000 gallons are donated. So I want to know the number of buckets if I know the number of gallons. So the number of buckets would be the number of gallons divided by what? 5. Good. Okay? Because you can take every 5 gallons of paint and put them into 1 bucket. So buckets equals gallons divided by 5. Now I can solve my two variable equation because I have a number I can substitute in for gallons. Right? So buckets equals 30,000 divided by 5. So that would be 6,000. B equals 6,000. All right. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. All right. You have a practice worksheet.